So when these people are aiming, what do you normally tell them? Do you tell them to center the whole housing and then just put the pin on the animal, or do you tell them to center the pin in their peep?
Um, it depends on the size of the peep. If it's a smaller peep, I will then try to get them to do the pin.
Okay.
If it can do the whole housing, I'll tell them to do the housing.
Now, important is what he just mentioned, the size of the peep. In Target, we use the absolute smallest peep we can, aperture, so we can get the exact smallest degree of variation in there. You don't want to do that if you're hunting necessarily, because an eighth of an inch sounds cool. It sounds like, oh, I can see that. Yeah, let me know how that goes. Early morning, late afternoon. It's gonna suck. So you have to take that into account of what you're doing. If you're going to be the type of person who just listens to everything you hear on the internet and think you can get away with an eighth inch peep and you're only hunting bright daylight hours, go for yours. But let me tell you something, under pressure, trying to locate that pin in that peep and then find the deer is like looking through a rifle scope at a deer 600 yards away. The nerves will make it look like I'm lining up my pin. Where's the deer? I can't see it now. It's like right in front of you. So that's a problem. So first thing I'm going to say about aiming is make sure your peep is the appropriate size that you can deal with.
Also, the
That's,
smaller you go, the darker it gets.
that's what I'm saying. Because dusk, oh my God, you've got no light in there. And if you're hunting out of a blind and you want to use one of these slow, little tiny peeps, yeah, no, that's not going to be good, for obvious reasons. But don't take my word for it. Try it. Let me know how it goes. Actually, just take your blind into the woods at 4:30 in the afternoon and put a target out, because there's nothing against practicing. Put a target out and tell me if you can actually see it. Depending on where you are, you probably can't. So that's a problem. But regarding the aiming part of this now, so like you said, some people, the whole housing they're going to center. If the peep is small, you want them to center the pin because actually the housing doesn't fit inside that peep anyway. The bottom line is this: whatever method you want to use, fine. Which is why people think I'm crazy when I talk about aiming and how you should do it. If you, because they're like, oh no, they got to be one or the other. Yes, that's the whole point. You need to be one or the other. If you trust me on this one, and Jonathan, you can tell me if you've ever seen this happen. If you set up a bow and you sight it in with one method, meaning center the whole scope and then put your pin on it, and as opposed to sighting it in by centering the pin, are you going to get a different reaction and impact points than not? Big time. And if you think that you can switch between the two of them because all of a sudden you can't see everything, you got something else coming to you. That's not going to work.
It's not.
It's usually very, very bad. And the whole point of this is that if you're going to go ahead and you're going to do that, you got to make sure that it works for you. So many times I've seen people completely miss, even on the range when they're out there shooting flat distances. They're practicing right before season. Some days they have it, and some days they don't. And then when I look at them, I'm like, I can I can tell you what it is, and they don't believe me until I say, "How do you normally aim?" And they're like, "Well, I always center the pin inside the peep." Okay, are you doing that right now? Yeah, I am. I said, shoot now and just make sure that you do that. And boom, they hit if they're sighted in that way. But you can't go back and forth. So your method is very important and you have to stick with it. That's number one. And that's not even, and that method, that's more of a system. That's not part of the actual aiming itself.